Hello, I'm Ricardo Laveros. I'm here interviewing former U of L men's soccer player Romelio Hernandez and now a professional athlete. Since I couldn't interview Ken Lola, I decided to interview one of his former athletes and that is very familiar with this field that I'm talking about. So, Romy, introduce yourself.
My name is Romelio Hernandez. I was a former U of L soccer player under Ken Lola. I played there for 4 years, a 4-year starter. And yeah, pretty much everything Ken Lola preached to us, I know.
Okay. Now, question one. Are you familiar with imagery or visualization?
Matter of fact, I that since my freshman year, Ken Lola had us walk into the locker room every morning before practice, before games, and sit there for 3 minutes in complete silence. And what he'd want you to do is breathe in and breathe out and focus on the breath, entering and leaving your body. And then halfway through, he'd tell you just to visualizing and picturing what you want to do on the field once we get out there. Visualize yourself making good passes, communicating, getting off to a good start.
Okay. So, how has imagery prepared you for one of your matches before?
Till this day, I still do it. So I do it before every game. I just sit in my locker and just think about what I'm going to do before every game, and it's prepared me very well. Um, it helps me get out there and be already mentally prepared for the game. I picture myself, just the start of the game, the whistle blows, the ball comes to me, and I get my first good pass. And as soon as that happens, I'm good. And as soon as I step onto the field, I make sure I get the ball back, get that clean pass, and I know everything will be fine after that.
That's good. Okay, so specifically, what do you visualize before a game?
Before a game, there's a lot of things depending on the team and the scouting report, but it usually goes about, I think about giving good passes. Obviously, I'm a center mid, so distributing is my part of the game. So I think about hitting some long balls, get behind, defending, getting stuck into a really good tackle or winning a header off a goal kick and just dunking on someone, just something that will motivate me to prepare me for the game. And communication a lot too, just, all of us talking and just noises that are going to be around, just getting me focused for the game.
Okay. So, were you familiar with visualization and imagery before college, or?
Actually, I had no idea of any of that stuff before Ken Lola. He was the guy that introduced me to it and eventually, hooked me to it and having me do it still to this day.
Okay. So, has visualization helped you outside of sports?
Yeah, fun. Visualization just isn't for athletes or sports. You can use it in your everyday life. I've done it before in an interview where I've sat down, closed my eyes and thought of questions the interviewer might ask me, just to prepare myself, make myself feel comfortable with them once I'm in the room. I've used it, plenty of times, but that's the one that I can think about right now.
Okay. So, what senses do you usually use when using imagery?
When you imagery and visualization, I try to use all of them as much as I can. I try to picture the crowd, the noises they're gonna make. Uh, I try to get a feel for the field. The day before we do a walkthrough, so we already have an idea what it looks like. So the day before, the day of, I sit in my locker. I've already seen it, so I picture it again. I feel the grass. I feel the ball coming to my feet. I'm receiving a pass, passing. Pretty much, I just try to get everything involved.
Okay. So, why do you use imagery or visualization?
The reason I do it is it helps me calm down and get all the nerves out. Once I'm done visualizing, that's pretty much where all the nerves are gone and out of the body, and I can start focusing on the game. I like to visualize because if I see myself do it once, I've already got that out the way, so I can see myself doing it many times after that. So I try to picture something in my head that I do a lot in the game, with the pass, receive, pass, turn. So those are a lot of the things I focus on, because those are one of the things I want to get completely correct on the field. So that's why I do it, because it helps me calm down, get the nerves out of my body.
Okay. Do the things you image always turn out exactly the way you envision them?
No, they're not always, but I just continuously do it to make it a habit and get myself used to doing it before every game, every practice. But yeah, it doesn't always work out. But when it does work out, it gives you a reason to keep doing it.
Okay. Is there any specific times or moments that you remember that you visualized and something turned out the way you wanted it to be? Any
Oh
specific
yeah,
moments?
I clearly remember this. It was the Duke game. I want to say my sophomore year. I visualized myself scoring a goal. I hadn't scored my whole freshman year, so that was a goal of mine I wrote down. And I said I'm going to get my first goal today. So I visualized myself shooting, putting the ball in the corner, anywhere where the goalie can't get it. Um, and it started off well in warm ups. I started warming up. Right foot, left foot, everything was going in the game. I was bombing forward a lot, trying to get any opportunity I could. And Andrew Brody cut down the right side, laid it back to me, and right foot, back post, scored the fifth goal, and basically ended the game. And it was just how I pictured it. Somebody cutting it back and sliding it in.
Okay. So, do you recommend imaging for all athletes?
Yeah, I recommend visualization imagery for not just athletes, but for everyone. It's a great way to focus on what you want to do and calm down, but have a better understanding of what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, and what you're going to do to accomplish that goal. So, yeah, of course, I'd recommend it for everyone, not just athletes.
Okay, that's good. So how can you image for other athletes, like non-soccer players, do you think?
What do you mean, like other athletes in other sports?
In other sports, yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's everything. Like in swimming, I did swimming in high school. So if I were to go back today and then knowing what I know now, I would have pictured myself counting my ropes, touching the wall, flipping, just getting a feel of the water, the temperature, how cold it would be when I dive in. Little things like that. In other sports, track, I ran a little bit of track. Just getting a feel for the track, the shoes, the spikes in the track. Just everything. It applies for everybody in all sports.
Okay, and last question: when does visualization start? Does it start a week before the event, like the day before, an hour before?
That's a good question. I think that it all depends on the person. What type of person they are, and if they like to prepare ahead of time. I like to do everything last minute. That's just the way I am. So right before I have to go out to practice, I'll sit in my locker room, take 2 minutes, just complete silence, close my eyes, and focus on my breathing, and then focus on exactly what I want to do when I step out on the field. Right before the game, everyone's left the locker room. I stay in there, sit down, do my 2 minutes, run out. So, I think it all depends. For me, it's just right before the matches, right before the practices. But for other people, it can be, a week or a month. It all depends on how much they care about it and how much they want to prepare for it.
Okay, well, sounds good. Thank you, Romy. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ricky.
Then again, Romelio Hernandez, and that'll be all. Thank you.